Welcome to the audience. So I'm going to discuss some of the challenges and symptoms I see around the globe when teams move to Agile, and more specifically discuss how they can be resolved and mitigated. You may not have all of these challenges, but you may recognize some of them that you'd really want to kind of see fixed and address. And I would say in the big picture, I still want to keep people doing Agile Scrum if that's their choice. So there are a lot of benefits of doing Agile for feedback loops, et cetera, and early testing. We don't want to break that. So we'll discuss how to fit these things into an Agile space or an Agile world to get the benefit out of them without breaking things that are already there. So a little bit about the Scrum and Agile, just kind of one slide. What to use from the manifesto. A lot of people refer to the manifesto as kind of the thing you must do, but if you look at it carefully, it has good things in there and it has some risks in there too. And I want to point out maybe the cause or source of some of the problems people are having if they follow the manifesto a specific kind of way. Typical symptoms, and then I'm going to go through these risks to look out for. There could be problems you're having now, realized risks, or there could be things that you could end up having a problem with later on. And for each one, I'll discuss how they can be resolved. The solutions are not particularly difficult, but they can be very effective and very easy to put in place. So the manifesto, this is put in quotes, is really just a copy from a wiki page version of it. So the definition of Agile, so software development refers to a group of software development methodologies based on iterative development methodology, and really ends up with evolving collaboration, self-organizing teams that are cross-functional. That's the basic definition of an Agile team. And Scrum is the process that became very popular over the years out of that. And there were back in the day, maybe 10, 15 years ago, even longer, other methods like extreme programming, Crystal Light, but the one that became popular and the other one somewhat forgotten about is Scrum. So Scrum is a simple predefined set of milestones to do project management. It's very effective. It gives a lot of feedback, but it is just a skeleton framework to be used. And the skeleton nature of it is where there are some things that you can add to mitigate some of those risks. So the manifesto, this is again quoted from the manifesto page, which is listed there on the bottom right. And so I like the idea of the manifesto, but if you look at it in detail or a particular view, it can cause some problems too. So for example, focusing on individuals and interactions over processes and tools, that can be very beneficial, but if you shift too far to the left, that can also end up with a lot of risk. So it's actually not addressing problems per se, it's just shifting the risk from the right, blue text, processes and tools, when they have problems and challenges, back to the left, fixing some of the issues, but actually adopting the risks when you don't have good processes and tools. Same thing for working software over documentation. To argue that we just have code and working software, and then arguing that no documentation is certainly gives you a benefit of having working software maybe earlier, but to communicate that, to communicate issues to the test group or to the QA group or to offshore suppliers becomes a risk. So again, the shift is going to the left, but that is not risk-free. Same thing with contract negotiation and custom collaboration. Obviously, I don't know anybody would be against custom collaboration, but not everybody on the planet is quite as honest and overt as maybe you like. So having contracts can help mitigate some of the problems when people either change their mind or they go bankrupt or they have problems or whatever. The contract lays out some basic minimums. Again, there are good contracts and there are bad contracts. Having just customer collaboration is not just the only solution could be put in place there. And following a plan versus responding to a change, actually I'm in my 30th year of doing this, and I have never met a group yet that has a plan did not respond to change. The plan was really about planning, thinking ahead. The plan was baselined. It was a draft at the very beginning, and it was updated to respond to change. So just saying we don't want to plan and we want to just change or respond to change, it would begin absorbing or assuming more risk. So what do I recommend out of this? Well, actually, something right in the middle. I see that manifesto as shifting risk, not addressing risk. You certainly get different problems and risks by going to the far left or to the far right. And certainly the things on the far right, like documentation, have historically been overdone and maybe done poorly, even planning overdone and done poorly. But when the things on the right are fixed to be the right level for the organization, and the things on the left are adopted to give more flexibility to kind of how we work, the solution ends up being right in the middle. So I treat this picture as a shifting of risk versus a kind of eliminating or addressing risk. So definition of Scrum, very straightforward. Most of you may be familiar with this. So we have a backlog. We'll discuss backlog issues in a few minutes. We have release planning. That is not in the current version of the Scrum Guide, but pre-2011, I think it was in part of the Scrum Guide. I'm going to recommend that we keep that in there. I'll discuss a little later on. Sprint planning, so the work is chunked into 2, maybe to 4-week increments, and we plan out the details of the sprint or that increment. The words there in gray, analysis, design, code, and test, are really kind of team-defined tasks. There's really no definition for exactly how they should go or even be done in the sprint, with the exception of the demo at the end. Then we have the sprint review, which is the demo to get feedback, which is good, and then the retrospective, which is a lessons learned to figure out really what went well and what didn't go so well, and when and how to correct that. And then, because it's a chunked amount of work, there's a visibility for the next chunk, actually starting it and what it's going to be. We can revise the scope of the next chunk and then keep on going. So there's a lot of benefits about doing Scrum in that 2-week to 4-week incremental nature. So I really like Scrum and Agile, and I would recommend it, and I'm going to keep on recommending it forward. However, it is just a framework, and it doesn't have everything you need, typically, and there are things that can be easily added to mitigate risk. So the positive are the work is chunked. Any system that chunks work is typically a good system for visibility. The teams do create momentum. They get into this routine, which is very positive, that if it's Monday, it's planning day. If it's Friday, it's kind of demo day. Scope changes can be managed very effectively by adding them to the backlog and not just inserting them to a sprint that is active right now. The process can be learned in 2 days or less, and the burn-down charts are a very easy and quick way.
Hi there, I hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Maludis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also gaining complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year. But if you use the coupon code LEARN2EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.